I'm back. So, tell me something. Do you guys feel the need for speed? So, recently I watched the new Tom Cruise movie, Top Gun, Top Gun Maverick, and so I'm gonna give you a quick spoiler-free review. I might get into a few spoilers. I can't really promise anything. I'll probably do some spoilers. You know what? I won't do spoilers. And also, I promised it. Monday? I was gonna break down a few of the other movies that I've seen, just kind of like try to catch up. This is probably gonna be catch-up week, so we'll see how that goes. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
Alright, so hopefully we won't have the issue that we had last time where everything got stuck and went to hell, and hopefully we'll be able to, go things smoothly. As I was about to start the podcast, I remembered, because it's all starting to come back to me. I'm starting to figure out, oh yeah, that's right, I'm supposed to do this. Oh yeah, that's right, I'm supposed to do that. So it's slowly coming back to me. I messed around with the audio, so if anybody's in the chat, let me know if I'm too low or something. But before I forget, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Super Dario World and at DarioSDW on Instagram. You can find this podcast on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. It's also supposed to be up on Rumble, so you can check it out there. But this is honestly, if you want to contact me directly, this is the easiest way for you to do it. Because Instagram, sometimes I forget to check, or I get too many messages, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm overwhelmed. I don't want to do it. So it's easiest just to contact me live. Honestly, it's way more fun. So I can do it immediately. Like right now, Gus Becerra, back-to-back days coming back strong. Not back-to-back. I didn't do one yesterday. I did one on Monday. I didn't want to do yesterday. Actually, yesterday I had a lot of fun. I went to a concert. I went up to Santa Ana to see Starset. Really impressed. I'll probably talk more about Starset when I talk about the Mexico City thing, because I went to a lot of concerts in Mexico City, and I guess I could just relate them. Also, I forgot to load any pictures and videos, but short version of it, the show's epic. And it feels epic. It feels like an epic production. They have a theme going on. I really enjoyed it. I had no idea what I had really no expectations going in. I didn't really know much about the band. I did know some of their songs. I just didn't know that I knew their songs. So I came out a fan. So as soon as I walked out, I was like, I'm buying their CD. Which one? All of them. Because that show was epic and they deserve my money. So there you go. In case you cared. Oh yeah, my bad. Days playing together. Yeah, it happens. It happens to the best of us. This year's felt so very long. So very long. Anyway. Let's get into it. So let's talk a little bit about the new Tom Cruise movie, which is actually broken box office records for Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, one of the biggest movie stars ever. Maybe the last greatest movie star still working, because his movies just keep getting better and better. If you forget about The Mummy, his career just keeps getting better and better. The quality of his films keep getting better and better, or at least they've always been consistently good. Because he's always been a massive superstar, and I can, off the top of my head, I could only think of The Mummy, of the Tom Cruise movies that I thought were bad. Everything else I kind of enjoyed. At least I had fun. I'm not going to say they're the greatest masterpieces ever, but they can't all be The Last Samurai, right? But but I enjoyed them. They're fun. They're enjoyable. The man knows his business, and I feel so happy that I defended him back when he had the rant, the leaked rant where he's just yelling at people. And I remember saying it, but back when that was going down, I was like, dude, this sounds like a great boss, like somebody who takes his job seriously, who takes that business very seriously. Now he should relax a bit. He probably feels like the weight of the industry's on his shoulders, which at that point kind of was, because it was the first major production to go back into shooting. And this one, I think it was the Mission Impossible one, which also looks epic. But anyway, long story short, Tom Cruise is probably the greatest movie star ever. If you add up all his work, he's probably the greatest movie star of all time, because I think in aggregate, you'd get probably the greatest collection of movies out there, bar none. Maybe he might not be the best actor, but he's the best movie star, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Mob Nasty, what's up, Dario? Much love, homie. Thanks for joining me, Mob Nasty. I appreciate it. So in aggregate, his work has always been phenomenal, and I think the vast majority of his films are good to very good. Very few stinkers out there. But again, and he's been around for a while, and he doesn't appear to be slowing down. Off the top of my head, the second Jack Reacher wasn't that good either. But anyway, we're talking about Top Gun Maverick here. So short version, Maverick is still a captain, and he's still a troublemaker, and the Navy still kind of doesn't like him, and so they want to retire him, but they're going to use him for one last mission. But they're not really going to use him. They're going to use him to train the next generation of pilots so they can go on basically what appears to be a suicide mission, taking down a nuclear facility, or a facility that's about to become nuclear by the enemy. Now, it's not exactly clear who that enemy is, and I don't think they actually, get too specific with it, but it could be either Iran or Russia. Either way. So it's the movie's about that. The movie has little to no CGI, which is phenomenal. All the jets that you see flying around, those are actual people flying the jets. You actually see Tom Cruise in the cockpit. They put the cast through actual pilots training, which is phenomenal. And this man is insane. He's insane. But that's the short version of the story. Overall, the movie brings back pretty much, they try to bring back in one way or another, pretty much every iconic moment from the original first one. Like the volleyball scene here, they have a, what is it called? Dogfight football scene, which is actually, when you're seeing it, you're like, what the fuck are they playing? This looks insane. And then when they explain it, you're like, that looks epic. I want to play it. And so they do that. They do like the motorcycle scene, the thing with the car. So they bring back all these kind of like iconic moments. They're just not as good as the original one. You never forget your first, right? It's never as good when they're trying to bring it back. However, it's a nice little throwback. It's an enjoyable moment. The thing that this movie does really well that the first one doesn't. The first one is kind of lacking story wise, like building up to an enemy or something. This one does an amazing job of it. Like I said, the entire movie is pretty much Maverick training the new generation of pilots, supposedly the best of the best, to go on a suicide mission. The stakes are extremely high, and it's a build up to that mission. And once they accomplish that, they go even further. Just when you thought you reached the climax, fuck no. It's only getting started. So overall, the movie is phenomenal. Is it Tom Cruise's best movie? I don't think so, but it's, to me right now, off the top of my head, I think it's the best movie the best movie I've seen this year so far, in terms of an enjoyable experience in the movie theater. It was fun from beginning to end. The performances are great. It gets you pumped. Like, I can see why why the army is trying to recruit people when they're exiting the theater, because it gets you pumped. Like, yeah, fucking American badasses. Fuck yeah, Maverick. Yeah. So it's really cool, and it's also, the movie's a very interesting FU from Tom Cruise. Because Maverick, they're trying to get him out of there. He's too old. They think they can't do it anymore, which kind of parallels a little bit to Tom Cruise's career. Like, he shouldn't be doing these stunts anymore. Is he crazy? Can he do it? Well, it's again like it's Tom Cruise like being like, "F you, everybody. I can still do it. I can still hang with the best of it. I'm still the greatest movie star on the planet. I'm still the best stuntman on the planet. And F you, everybody." For those of you who don't believe me and we're the same guy who can still do it. So great in that sense. Getting Jennifer Connelly in there is great. Her character's a lot of fun. She actually did a way better job than the original actress, whose name I don't remember. Val Kilmer, Iceman, he's a very important part of the movie. He doesn't appear as much. It's only like a small cameo, but it's very important story-wise, and it's a very heavy performance. Like, I was concerned a little bit, because if you've seen Val Kilmer recently, he's not the Val Kilmer from the 80s, but they played with that really well. They used it to their advantage, and it was fantastic. So, like I said, overall, great movie, fun experience. It gets you hyped about jets. Now, I've always thought that it's very difficult to make a movie about just fighter pilots look cool, other than Top Gun, because it's not something that's easy to follow. The aerial action is not that easy to follow. And overall, it's kind of like they're loners in their cockpits and stuff like that, but they did it really well. They did it in a way that's fun. It's clear where everybody is in every single point, so I wasn't too confused. Like, for example, if you think of, let's say, Independence Day, everybody's all over the place. You have no idea what the hell is going on. You enjoy it because it's fun and aliens you're shooting, but you're not. It's all a big giant mess. Here it's clear, and I liked it. So, like I said, overall, if you only have what's a movie going for right now? $10 in the movie theaters here. I don't know. I want to Mexico, so it's cheaper. But let's say if you have an extra $15 and you're not sure which movie to watch, I'd watch Top Gun Maverick. It's really good. It's really, really good. Tom Cruise at his best. Movies at its best, and I highly recommend you watch it in a movie theater, because the sound effects and everything. It's you don't get the same feeling at home. So there you go. So that's Top Gun Maverick. Let's move on to now I think I'm gonna go in order here to as I watch them. Actually, I don't even know. Let me just see. Yeah. Okay. So as I watched them, the first movie that I watched after surgery was The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. This is the new Nicolas Cage movie where he plays Nicolas Cage. The movie is hysterical. Short version, Nicolas Cage is his career is down in the dumps and he needs money. So a eccentric millionaire, I don't know, a rich guy from Spain hires him to show up at his party because he's a big fan. The fan is played by Pedro Pascal, Javi, who's phenomenal in the movie. He's hysterical. And so Nicolas Cage goes and he ends up really hitting it off with Javi, and it turns out that Javi is actually a very dangerous drug dealer. So that's the long and short of that's the premise of the movie. It is hysterical. It's Nicolas Cage at his best, not trying to be serious at all. Pedro Pascal is also phenomenal. Like I said, his character Javi is hysterical. I was crying in the movie theater. I saw it with two of my best friends, and we were crying, laughing how good this movie is. Like, Nicolas Cage is back, man. He's back. And you know what? The world needed him. The world needed Nicolas Cage to come back and start doing good movies again, which over the past few years, he's gotten a little bit more selective, which is good. I think he got over his money issues, and he's gotten a little bit more selective with the movies that he's done. Like Pig was really good. There's also another one that was really good. I forget the name. But anyway, the point is, he's starting to pick better scripts. He's starting to get better co-stars. Like if you watch if you read through Nicolas Cage's IMDb, his career started going downhill when he stopped being on screen with other really talented actors. And Pedro Pascal is an amazing actor. So they have a lot of chemistry. The movie's hysterical. I highly recommend it. It's the most fun I'd had in a movie theater this is the best comedy I've seen in a movie theater in a very long time. So there you go. Highly recommend it. Next, I saw The Northman. Now, The Northman is directed by a guy called, let me just check his name because it's a kind of a weird one. His name is Robert Eggers. Now, Robert Eggers is, for those of you who don't know, he directed The Lighthouse and he directed The Witch. He's a very good director, very talented. He likes to keep things very realistic. The Northman is no exception in that sense, like historically accurate. It's very historically accurate. I have a few issues with it. The movie's phenomenal. It's a lot of fun. It really gets you pumped, like, oh yeah, Vikings and stuff. I have a few issues with it. First issue, it's the same issue that I have with Saving Private Ryan. After D-Day, it's kind of all downhill from there. I'm not saying it's bad. The rest of the movie's bad or it doesn't have action or anything. It's just that it's really hard to top D-Day. This movie has a similar issue. There's a raiding scene, a Viking raiding scene, and they've built up to it. And from that point on, it's like how you need to match that. And I felt like they don't do it. It's still epic. The fights that follow are epic, but it never quite reaches that same level. So that's my issue with Saving Private Ryan. That was my issue with this one. Also, it's a little too on the nose. What this is. All right, so this movie, the main character's name is Amleth. His dad gets killed by his uncle. His dad, the king, gets killed by his uncle, and the uncle takes over as king, and he takes Amleth's mother as his new bride. Can anybody see where this is going? Can anybody see? Am I the only person? Yeah, okay, so it's Amleth. Anyway, so this is basically Hamlet, right? Which I don't mind. Hamlet's supposed to be the Dane. Actually, this bothered me. The movie takes place in Iceland instead of Denmark, and it's like, I get why, because Iceland is really beautiful and supposed to be remote or whatever. But it's one of those things like, come on, man. If you're going to do Hamlet or whatever. But it's a Viking version of Hamlet. And so that kind of bothered me a little bit, because it's one of those things where, like, I kind of already know where this is going, but let's see how you get there. And again, this is Vikings. They're very brutal, and it's a very raw film. They did keep in that direction, so fine. It's okay. I just changed the guy's name, but try to hide it a little bit, but it's fine. Okay. Hamlet does have Viking DNA, so Amleth, I guess it's not too big of a leap. I don't know. Just me, personal stuff. But overall, the movie's a lot of fun. It's really well made, really well acted, really enjoyable. So, highly recommend it. Next, let's see. Well, I don't even know which one's next here. Actually, I can't even see. All right, so the next we have, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, I'm torn about this movie. First off, I'm very happy, very, very happy that they finally gave my girl Wanda some respect. Finally, they give Scarlet Witch some respect. I've said this many times. If this is the first time you've ever heard it, okay. If not, you've probably heard me complain about this before. Scarlet Witch is my favorite female character in Marvel. I don't mean the MCU. I mean Marvel in general, like the comic books and stuff. Love Scarlet Witch. And so I was always very pissed at the treatment that they gave her in the MCU, because they made her kind of a chump. First off, they don't even make her a mutant, and they make her kind of a chump, and her accent disappears. So I was not a fan. Like, I enjoyed WandaVision fine, because I accepted, all right, this is basically the kiddie version of what Scarlet Witch is supposed to be. Fine, whatever. This is the Looney Tunes version or whatever. But in this movie, finally they give my girl some respect. Finally, they make her the unstoppable, crazy force that she's supposed to be. Now, and still, honestly, they don't really reach her potential or her actual level, but they finally, it's something. And as I was watching the movie, I couldn't help, remembering a few years back. For those of you who don't know, I used to work at a radio station, here in San Diego, Rock 105.3, and I worked for a morning show called The Show. And every year when the NFL draft comes by, they do a thing called the draft, where basically they pick a topic and they draft whatever, like, let's say the best film snacks, movie theater snacks. And so they do a draft, and I pick popcorn, somebody else picks soda and whatever, and that's like your team. Well, one year they decided to do a superhero draft, and they invited me to be a part of it. So I remember everybody and their mother making fun of my team. Actually, I think I made a podcast. It was one of the first podcasts I made, a podcast defending my team. My team was Batman as the leader, Wanda as his right hand, Scarlet Witch's right hand, and Vision as his left hand. And everybody was like, "What? Are you kidding me? I expected something so much better for you." I'm like, "Dude, you don't get it." All right. First off, Batman, best strategist in the entire DC universe. By far. Batman has a plan even for not having a plan, all right? And so if you give him Wanda is an Omega, all right? Wanda she literally disappeared every single power from the universe. Like, she has the power to do that. And so she's, like I said, she's an Omega power. She's Omega level. Omega basically means that you don't have any limits. I know that they changed that now, but, fuck you. Those rules are stupid. She's an Omega. Anyway. So she has that. She has that level also. And here's what I was thinking. What's the biggest threat out there, right? Superman. Superman's weakness? Magic. So I already got that covered. I got an Omega level mutant who deals with magic. That's with chaos magic. I got Superman, done. He's out of there. And for Vision, I got all the techie stuff. I need to hack something. Boom. I got Vision right there. Also, here's the brilliant thing. Vision keeps Wanda happy. So, you can't, Wanda's too wild, you can't control her. She's crazy. That's her biggest weakness. With Vision there, she's going to be happy. She's going to be cool. She's going to be like, "Oh yeah, I got my man here. All right, we'll just listen to Batman, whatever Batman does." And so basically what I was doing is I'm giving Batman an extremely powerful magical weapon and an extremely powerful tech weapon. So there you go. To me, it seemed like the perfect team. Everyone was making fun of me like, "Ah, man, Wanda's really weak," and stuff like that. Well, watch this movie and fuck you. Because you know what my girl did? She whooped everybody's ass. Big time. And let me see, Gus Becerra. My favorite geek out moment was the X-Men theme subtly playing when Professor X coming out. Yes. So this movie honestly, it has a lot of cameos, Easter eggs, and all that stuff. I was underwhelmed by that. I expected more. Like, Why not have Professor X mention at least Magneto? You know, like a little bit, something. Why did Wanda pick a universe where Vision's not there? Like, does Disney not have enough money to pay the actor to appear for Vision to do a quick cameo or something? I expected just a lot more cameos from the X-Men world, Deadpool, another member of the Fantastic Four, somebody. I don't know. And Iron Man, I was really pumped, you know, for having a Tom Cruise Iron Man, the Supreme Iron Man. I forget his name. Anyway, Gus Viscera. I'm also now even more confused about the differences between multiverse, quantum realm, and Loki timeline theory. Okay, great that you mentioned that, because that's what I was about to get into my complaints with the movie. So, loved what they did with Wanda. Loved that the movie's fast paced. It feels like a chase. You're being followed by a very powerful enemy. The stakes feel really high. You know, the fate of the entire multiverse and all that stuff. Problem is, the multiverse stuff is a whole bunch of garbage. The whole time travel stuff is a whole bunch of garbage. Nothing makes any sense. Everything is stupid. Every single rule that you ever made gets broken. Every single thing that they did for pretty much phase 1 is undone. Doesn't make any sense. And they didn't even use this movie to bring in all the new properties that they have. I mean, they did have the Mr. Fantastic in there, but not in the MCU universe. In fact, they kind of, you know, they dealt with that one pretty quickly. So it's one of those things like, well, what was even the point of having a multiverse movie where you don't bring in the multiverse? In fact, you only kind of made things harder. Like, I thought it really funny that they made a Latina character whose power is that she can jump any border, basically. I thought that was pretty clever and hysterical, and I don't think that was their intention, but I thought that was pretty funny. Other than that, what happened? Like, what changed? Where's the MCU going? What's this new phase? What, like, with Spider-Man? Okay, Spider-Man's a rando. At least there's something. Something happened with Spider-Man. They reset the character. He's now poor, as he was always supposed to be poor, and I'm very happy about that. So he's poor, and nobody knows his identity. Okay, good. Spider-Man's set up for the next phase. What really changed here with Doctor Strange at the end of it? There were 2 books. One book that didn't really appear in the movies before. So there's a very evil book. By the way, the book thing bothered me. So you have like a massively evil book that they just destroy with a knife. Like it's nothing. Like, this is supposed to be like super powerful weapon, and like, eh. Also, why didn't she go after Wanda? I mean, she was kind of busy not paying attention in another world, but whatever. So they go after the book bothered me. And also they had an auto win with another book. So this massively epically powerful book that just an auto win that they used to beat Thanos like he was nothing. What was the point? I mean, Doctor Strange didn't even get back together with his girl. What? The other the Dimension Jumper girl, what she's now part of the, well, I don't even remember what the freaking Sorcerer's the group name is. So nothing changed. Again, they're not setting, I don't feel like they've set up anything. I mean, the Loki TV show set up something, Khan the Conqueror. I don't particularly like all the time travel stuff because, again, it's very confusing and it fucks everything up. And again, like as Gus mentions, what's the difference between a multiverse and the time travel stuff, timeline theory? So I'm going to kind of, and the quantum realm. All right, so I'm going to kind of try to dumb this down as best as I can. So actually, before I do that, let me just go to this because it's actually pretty fun. Goes to sir, I'm surprised how dark and gory it was. Yes, Sam Raimi is he's a gory dude. I mean, if you watch the Evil Dead movies, you can tell. I'm surprised they let him go that far. At certain points, I was watching the movie, I was like, man, this man played Dark Souls. So this is a Dark Souls level villain. Like, this is a creature from my nightmares. This is epic. This is fun. Again, so it was scary in a way, but in a fun way. It was enjoyable. Like it was fun, well handled. All right, but back to the other thing. So, from what I understand, there's a time travel multiverse, which means that it's this universe, but if you go back in time and you change something, you're going to create a parallel universe. So again, there's a parallel. They're kind of They're kind of supposed to be going in the same direction, but deviating a little bit. As far you know what? Don't even believe I'm trying to make sense out of this. All right, I'm not. It doesn't make sense. I'm gonna try to make sense out of it. So whenever you time travel, you're creating an offshoot, a branch of that timeline, but it's still supposed to be that timeline, right? If you go further back, obviously the timeline is going to be way different, but it's still kind of that same reality. All right. The multiverse stuff is no longer parallel. It's kind of just going in a whole different direction. Like the rules of that particular reality are completely different, right? Is that kind of making sense? Like the time travel multiverse is still different branches of the same reality. Multiverse stuff, the ones that we just saw in Doctor Strange, not follow universes that don't follow the same rules as that reality. I think that's the easiest way. I think it's the only way I can make sense of it. And the quantum realm, I really don't understand it. I don't understand why it can make you travel in time. Like I did a whole podcast on what is time and how time technically doesn't exist, or it exists always. But I'm not gonna get into that right now. The point is, as a movie, independently, fun ride. I enjoyed it. I was in the movie theater. I was having fun. I hated the ending by a lot because I hate it when the main character does not deal with the main threat. Really hate it. Really annoys me. And I hate it when the villain kind of beats itself. I find it really stupid. And I find it to be extremely lazy writing. So if you're going to have a villain and you're going to build a big badass villain, you need to kick its ass. And you need to find a way to kick its ass. The only problem is that Wanda is too badass, and the only way to beat her is for her to beat herself, basically. So that kind of sucked. So underwhelming finale, and I don't see how this builds up to anything in the MCU, or at least not yet. It wasn't very clear. It was vague. In fact, it broke kind of some of the other rules that they set up before. But all right. I mean, the MCU is a mess. The Phase 2 has been a complete and total mess. It's had good movies, like the Spider-Man movie's good, but I mean, story-wise, I have no idea where they're going or why. Like most of the TV shows don't make much sense. So, all right, and I'll probably talk about Moon Knight some other night, because that also fucks everything up. Next, let's see what do we even have here. The documentary What is a Woman? I saw this one. I think it came out last week. It's very funny. I am a massive fan of when people get cornered. So basically what this guy does is he goes and asks people who should know the answer to the question, what is a woman? He asks them, what is a woman? I find it really funny. Like, for example, he goes to the Women's March and all that. He goes to like a gender studies professor, stuff like that. And they can't answer the question because it's a whole ideology thing. I'm not going to get into it. But here's what I love. I love it when people get cornered. And, but by logic, you put yourself in a corner. You're stuck. There's nowhere for you to go. And so I love watching people in those situations, because first off, you see that, and you see it in their faces like, oh shit, I've been caught. And here you have a choice to make. You can either be an adult and be like, you know what, that's interesting. I hadn't really considered it. I need to think for a minute. Or you know what, you might be right. Or you can double down on stupid. And here they double down on stupid, and they have it on film. So I love it. The movie's really well made. It's got really good pacing. It's interesting. You are laughing at the beginning. If it looks like a joke, in the middle, your blood's kind of boiling. Like if you're a parent, I recommend you watch it, because it's gonna be like, man, what the fuck is going on? You get really mad. It's really funny. So I enjoyed it. As far as documentaries go, I think it might be the best documentary I've seen in a while, since the Peter Jackson one where they colorized World War One film. And so I recommend it. It's enjoyable. Finally, I believe, no, what's the last one that I watched? That's it. That's 5, right? I did all 5. Good. So there you go. These are like the 5 movies that I've watched that I haven't reviewed. That I honestly could have done a full review of each one and get deeper and go into spoilers and stuff like that. But, I'm not going to be done. Most of these movies are not in theaters anymore. I think the only one that's actually in theaters is Top Gun Maverick. So that's the title of this video. That's why I spent a little bit more time with it. And it's also really good, so you should watch it. Let me see. That's it. I think that's it for today. As always, comments, questions, suggestions, you can find me live streaming here. It's the easiest way for you to contact me. YouTube and Twitch at Super Dario World. I'm not sure when I'll do my next one, 'cause tomorrow I got a softball thing. Maybe Friday, because I'm going out of town this weekend again. Maybe on Friday. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But if you want to send me something privately, you can do that on Instagram at Super Dario World and at DarioSDW. Oh, you can also check stuff out there. I'm probably going to go on my trip. I'll load videos and stuff. I tend to do that right now. If you check, I think I have a story from my concert yesterday. So there you go. As always, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again next time.